NewGenGamers.com.
Review!
Hello from NewGenGamers.com. This is Ron along with
Duck.
This is a look at Chuck Rock 2, Son
of Chuck.
Son of Chuck on the Sega CD, and as you can see we get some cool cartoon graphics here that were only available on the Sega CD.
Yes, and we will show you the original Sega version of this game a little bit after we show you a little bit of the Sega CD game. So we're going to go to the gameplay now. And this game was developed by Core Interactive.
Now Core went on to do a lot of good titles for the PlayStation, and I believe they did Tomb Raider.
Yes, they did. Now, this game is a basic side-scroller. As you can see, you can collect candy, you're killing things. I think it was made for children, but there's blood in it, so I'm a little bit confused. I've always been confused, because even when I was younger, we were playing it, I was going, is this for kids, or what's the story? So, and there's a lot of remnants to the Flintstones, as you can tell in the background. That looks very Flintstone-ish. Even the opening animation looked like the Flintstones to me.
I don't quite get why they have power lines there. That's kind of throwing me off.
Not
But
sure either.
the Caveman Town apparently had stone electricity of some sort.
Oh, I see. Oh, this is just pissing me off. Anyhow, the other thing that is interesting is, if I get to him... Oh, there we go. There's a lot of people in dinosaur outfits, which to me reminds me of Barney the Dinosaur. And I remember there was a big thing about killing Barney back in the day. Remember that Barney game? They did the Doom mod of it. Anyhow, you can kill the birds and collect some candy. Delicious. And it doesn't have a lot of obstacles. It's not very hard. Ignore that trampoline thing. I just couldn't figure out how to work it. So this is pretty much the entirety of the game. The levels changed, they're themed and such, but there's nothing that exciting. The load times aren't that bad either.
Yeah, that loaded up pretty quick there.
It's just more or less a funny little game, and I think a lot of people enjoyed the first Chuck Rock. I don't think a lot of people got to play this one. But it's back to that slapstick Hanna-Barbera style that you don't see that often. Now, you do get to ride creatures in this game. If I can jump on him. He moves pretty smoothly.
Yeah, this looks like a decent platform game.
It's not bad, but it's nothing to get overly excited about.
Right.
I'm not saying I don't suggest that you look into it if you're a game fanatic, because it is a piece of our history in video gaming. But for the most part...
And if you were curious what happened after the first Chuck Rock and you never got to find out, now there we see some stone fire hydrants. I like how they're making everything just out of stone here. It is very Flintstone-ish.
And the graphics they're not bad. Once again, as we said before, the Sega CD was a powerhouse for 2D games. It was more or less there for the full motion video, but as you can see, it doesn't look bad, and there's no filtering really on this, so this is what the game looks like as you're playing it. Now we're going to show you some of the video from the Sega version of this, so you can see how the Sega CD was what's the word I'm looking for?
Graphically superior?
Graphically superior.
No, I mean, it's not real significant, but you can definitely tell the difference that there's more colors available on the screen and the animation's a little more fluid.
Alright, so we're going to load that up for you now. Alright, now we're looking at the original Sega Genesis version of Chuck Rock 2, Son of Chuck. You'll notice right away that the graphics aren't too much different, but the sound quality is immensely different.
Yeah, you're getting the, I don't know, I always thought the Sega Genesis sounded like a Yamaha friggin' one of those mixers.
Absolutely.
Which I think they actually had a Yamaha sound chip, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure, but it's possible.
Right
but,
there.
You can definitely tell that there's not a significant difference between the two games.
But the sound quality is 100% different. As you notice in the Sega CD version, there was a really cool melodic music going on. It was actually you could dig to it, but this is more or less just beeps and boops as you would come to expect. Sega CD music might get
You've
stuck
gotten
in your
better
head.
on that jump.
Yeah, but that's just because I figured it out. But, like, the Sega CD music might get stuck in your head. This is just annoying.
Yeah, there's definitely a night and day difference there, but...
Yeah, the bird did get electrocuted. That's pretty cool. Even the bird animation is a little bit different.
But otherwise, it looks pretty much the same.
Absolutely.
And this is one thing that hurt the Sega CD, I think, too, because it's the same game. I mean, playing the Sega CD version, you got aesthetics, but you didn't get anything revolutionary with a lot of these games, and it just wasn't enough of a step up.
And there was probably
to
definitely a lower price point for this game based upon the two different versions.
Yeah, I imagine, because at that time CDs were still fairly expensive and new.
I'm actually noticing a lot more graphical stuff going on in the Sega Genesis version of the
Yeah,
game.
what's up with that?
I have no clue. But yep, that's Chuck Rock 2, Son of Chuck for the Sega CD.
The lightning was not in the Sega CD version.
Huh.
Well, for those of you who are as enterprising as us, go out and check out these games on Sega CD or Sega Genesis.
And happy arcading, everyone.
Happy arcading.
NewGenGamers.com